Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Inspired Career Spotlight on Careers, the video podcast series where I bring you experts from all over the career management space to keep you up to date and help you advance in your careers. And I have the ultimate special guest for you today, a mother-daughter team. I'll tell you how I met them, but they are incredible. And they are here to talk with us today about the work that they do, why it's so important to you, ladies in particular. Let's talk about style. Let's talk about executive presence. Let's talk about how good you feel and how that helps contribute to your success. Let's welcome my guests here today, Alison Bruhn and Delia. Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Let me introduce you both first, and then we will talk a little bit about what you do and why you're talking to my audience today. I am just so thrilled, so honored to have you here. So Alison Bruhn is a national style and image consultant with clients across the country. She is co-owner of The Style That Binds Us, and she studied at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. She holds a color certification from the Image Resource Center of New York. The purpose of her work is to empower women through creating a visual brand and transforming their style to ignite a new path of confidence and independence. She works with both private clients and groups. Her expertise is frequently called upon for top-tier publications, including the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, MSNBC, Time, The Zoe Report, Birdie, Forbes, etc. Condé Nast. We could go on for quite a long time. Bride, Southern Bride, you name it, she's there. I see her everywhere on Instagram. And she's a public speaker, and she's been on multiple podcasts. She's a New York stylist with a decade of experience and has access to an extensive network of connections inside the fashion industry. And Delia is her daughter, Delia Folk. Delia, I'm so thrilled to have you here. Delia graduated from the College of William and Mary and has a degree in marketing. She started her career also in the fashion industry by interning at Versace in men's wholesale. After graduation, she worked at Barney's New York on the buying team in cosmetics, ready-to-wear, and jewelry, both for full price and off-price channels. While working in the buying office, she discovered and nurtured emerging designers, spotted the latest trends, and gave insights into a career in the fashion industry. Delia is a sought-after speaker, having spoken on panels and given master classes at the American Fashion System with ISCM, the Independent Jewelry Summit, Beret, ILO Studios, Fairly Even Expo, Furish, and Thrive Academy. She also has judged design competitions at New York Now. She's enthralled with the history of fashion and how the past affects the present, because we know that does. Everything comes around again. Going to market, meeting designers, and hearing their inspiration firsthand, along with attending fashion shows, is what fuels her. So welcome, ladies. And I just want to take one more moment to talk about your company, okay? So they are the mother-daughter duo that is the brain behind The Style That Binds Us. The Style That Binds Us is co-founded by these two lovely ladies, and they are on a mission to advance and empower women. And ladies, this is why we are having this conversation today. And maybe some of you, I know some of my clients have worked at some of these places that we've already mentioned, and this is critically important. Prior to starting The Style That Binds Us, Alison was an in-demand personal stylist, and Delia interned at Versace and worked at Barney's. The Style That Binds Us offers digital styling courses where they cover body types, color analysis, style for female executives, visual and personal branding, closet edits, capsule wardrobes, and more. Listen, if you work in branding for a CPG company or whatever, you know the importance of this, and we tend not to think of ourselves, but that's why this is so critically important. So the connections are very easy to make. They partner with companies to elevate their employees' professional image and boost confidence through strategic personal branding and executive presence, the theme for today. Their customized corporate partnerships empower the company's team to make smart choices about their professional appearance. And what does that lead to? Increased productivity, more business opportunities, and the firm being more competitive and ultimately a stronger bottom line. And that's why the companies bring them in. So welcome, ladies. Welcome, welcome. Congratulations on The Style That Binds Us and all of your success. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us. We're thrilled to be here.
I feel like we should be on The View or something. I feel like we should not be here or something, but next time, maybe next time. But listen, so I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get right into it, okay? So I have introduced you a little bit, but I want you to talk a little bit about yourselves. So why don't you talk about a little bit about your career path? I know I've shared a little bit, but really, how did the past, I know you're educationally prepared for these roles, hands-on, but really, how did that inspire you to break off and to start your own company and to do the work that you're doing. Talk to us a little bit about that.
You want me to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay. Well, and Mom can weigh in too. So basically, I decided while I was at William & Mary that I wanted to move to New York City and work in the fashion industry, knowing no one in the industry, nothing about it, starting from literal square zero. And so through a lot of networking and one phenomenal and very sweet, gracious connection, I ended up interning at Versace and then worked at Barney's on the buying team. And so that's where you're actually working within the fashion industry. When you're working at a brand, you're selling the collection to the stores. And then the reverse side of that, when I worked at Barney's on the buying team, I was selecting both the brands and then the products for our customers. And so throughout that process, Mom, since I was starting at Square Zero and a full-time student, I got Mom to help me prep for the interviews, and that reawoken her love of fashion as well. And so she ended up going to FIT and getting this image consulting certificate. So she actually learned the science behind dressing. So then we're both working tangentially in the industry. Mom is a personal stylist, me discovering these incredible emerging brands globally. So then I was sharing with Mom, I met this incredible handbag brand today. Make sure you're sharing it with your clients so that they can be in the know, these up and coming brands that maybe only fashion insiders are aware of. While I was at Barney's for a creative outlet, I ended up starting a blog. I also encouraged Mom to start a blog. And then in 2018, we ended up combining and to create the Style That Binds Us. So it started as a media company and a personal styling agency. And then now we've launched digital styling courses. And then we're focusing on corporate partnerships. So basically the company evolves as the world evolves, as we evolve, as we realize what women's needs are. And so definitely through COVID, as we really, me personally, and maybe you as well, the disparities between men and women as they navigate the world really opened my eyes. I wasn't aware so much of all of those things. Working in fashion, it's a female dominated industry. So you're not necessarily understanding the disparities in other industries. Mm-hmm. So that's when at first we were culture through the lens of style, because fashion, as you were talking about the past and the present, you look to fashion to see what's going on in all these different time periods. So anyway, that's a little bit about the Style That Binds Us and the evolution.
That's pretty incredible, because I think everybody that talks about, I want to do something on my own, I want to start something, they think they have to start out big and shiny, but you're proof. You start out doing one thing, you start the blog, you start talking to people, and then it blossoms. Right? You don't do it all at once. That's what you're saying. You just started out as the media company, and then before you know it, things keep layering and they'll keep layering and opportunities open up, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of it came when I was hearing one-on-one with my clients. If I heard it over and over again, then I realized, this is a need. This is a thing. Because when I started working with my clients, and they are mainly women, I realized that as women, we lose ourselves along the way because we're so busy taking care of everybody else. And by the time you hire a stylist, you're pretty much, at your wit's end. You're just overwhelmed and frustrated and low self-esteem and everything. And I really wanted my clients to understand I had their back. I was going to make sure that they looked good from the back. When they left that house, there was nothing that they didn't know that other people might see. And, I just wanted them to feel like in control, fabulous, and head out and take on the world. And so that translated eventually into working with all these executive women. And what I was hearing, I'm the only woman, I've just made managing partner, and I'm the only woman on the team. I've just done this. I'm the, all of these things. And I realized I wanted to have their backs as well. So that's the thing. It's definitely about style and feeling good and all of that. But it's also about just, you can almost check that off your list. When you know that what you're wearing really sends the message that you want it to send, it creates respect from other people. When you walk in, they're like, oh, that person, I think that's a leader. I want to go meet them. All of that came about. And then eventually we were like, well, you don't have time to do so much one-on-one and reach as many women as you can. And so that's when the course has evolved too.
Incredible. But I don't want to lose this thought, Alison. Let's go back to this. You said something that I know resonates with women. The only woman in the room, the woman at the highest leadership levels. Can we still talk about how women only make 83 cents on the dollar to men's dollar? Can we talk about even when you're in the boardroom, you're still not getting the respect? Can I tell you just very quickly, years and years ago when I started my business, I walked with he was 19 years old at the time. My 19-year-old son and I walked into a radio station because we were going to get some advertising for my business. We were going to meet with the radio station executive, the owner. And he came into the room and went right to my son. Thanks for coming in, he said. Thanks for coming in. And he said, it's my mom's company. So ladies, if that resonates with you, that's what Alison's talking about, right? It's some of the, it's the blatant lack of respect. It's the less money, it's less opportunities, but it's some of those microaggressions. It's the lack of opportunity you can't really put your finger on. And if you've worked with me before, we've had these conversations, right? So yes, it's about feeling good. It's about having your confidence, but it's about trying to level the playing field too. It's about this whole executive presence thing, right? It starts with appearance, and it is about how you carry yourself and communication and all of these things. But women have to try harder. Women have to perform better. And if you're a woman of color, you have to even do it harder. Isn't that right?
Yes, most definitely. And there's all these nuances between you don't want to come across as threatening and tough, but you also don't want to come across by accident as, let's just be honest, sexy or sensuous, because that's distracting. So it's hard in this day and time when we're not supposed to really talk about any of that, but it's still there. It is still there, and it is still important, especially if you're in a competitive industry. You want to make sure that you understand the power that you have by how you present yourself, and also that you're not sabotaging yourself unintentionally by what you wear.
Yeah, I will also tell you, and I will share this. I can't believe I'm sharing it publicly, but close to 20 years ago, I had a boss pull me aside once, and she said, Kathy, you should be on an episode of What Not to Wear.
Oh my.
But I took what she was saying to me. I took the feedback. She meant it, and she was right. She wasn't wrong, Alison. My point is, when you say sabotaging,
yes.
I still have no sense of fashion. I still don't. But my point is, we do things we don't know. What she was telling me, and I was at least smart enough to listen and not take it personally. What she was saying is I was sabotaging myself. That's what she was saying to me, and I listened. And so I didn't get a stylist, but I upped my game. I learned. It's not, we didn't talk. But as I grew older, I kind of grew into that, and I understood it. But young ladies, if you're watching, it starts then. You don't have to wait till you're 50 to do that. Can you talk a little bit about that journey? Because I know I work with a lot of young ladies. Can we talk a little bit about that? How setting that foundation for style and presence at that age, how you believe that helps set the trajectory of their careers?
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that?
Gosh. Well, these are things that in the upcoming webinar, you're going to hear from us, but we love to practice what we preach and just
Easter egg, folks. Easter egg there for the what I talked about. But go ahead.
Exactly. So your reputation and perception are created over time in everyday micro moments. So first impressions are super important, but from the beginning of your career, from day one, from the internship, from the interview, every single time you are in front of the people at this company you're either working for or interviewing for. That is creating your reputation, and that is extremely memorable. I was an assistant when I was working at Barney's on the buying team. 10 years later, I'll see them and they're like, oh, Delia, I remember you. These people who were the owners, the designers, you were always dressed so well. You always smelled nice, all of these things, because I was in beauty. I was surrounded by fragrance and beauty products constantly. All that to say is that cements how you show up each and every day, cements how people think of you. And you can really, what's the great thing is that you have the power to craft that narrative. So you can think of, okay, Like, what are 3 words when someone thinks of me that I want them to think of? This is digital and in person. You really, you cannot show up at work this polished and professional, and you carry yourself differently. And then you have all these party photos online, like on your social media, like that's fine. I want you to have fun, but it's both. That's conflicting, and you can get into trouble there.
And on Zoom, like if you're having a Zoom meeting and your hair is wet and you're just in a t-shirt, they think, oh, are you sick? Are you okay? Because it's not the you that they know. And we know that, is it the 46% of what you say is nonverbal, or the messages that you sent, 55%. So it really, some people think this is frivolous, and at first when I'm working with, let's say, a professor or something like that, let's say she's a professor at a university and they want her to do some videos for her department, but she is nervous that if she looks like she cares too much, then her colleagues will think she's being shallow, right? Or she's a professor and she wants to appeal to the college kids, but she doesn't want to look too young for her colleagues to think, what is she doing? So that, and then when you start working with them and you put something on that is professional and makes them feel accomplished, then not only do they think, well, this is kind of fun. I like this. What else? Give me something else to try. But then they also, when they represent their university, they have this added bit of confidence when the video starts rolling. It's amazing to see someone go from kind of like this and sort of vulnerable and not excited about what they're doing to all of a sudden just being like shoulders back, ready to take on the world. That's what we're talking about. We're just using the clothes and the visual presentation to create your executive presence. It's just it's a tool.
There's nothing frivolous about that. Everybody deserves that. Every woman deserves that. And I say woman because men, you generally get it, right? Men are not judged the same way. The words that you are using, men are not judged that way. And men, this isn't a dig at you if you have to be watching this. We love you, men. We love you. We love you. Thank you. We love you. This isn't about that, but this is about the differences. This is about the challenges, and this is about trying to level the playing field and recognizing what women are against, right? So it be right. So this is what it's about. There's nothing frivolous about it. Can we talk a minute? I know that part of what you do, yes, it's the tool and the style, but can we talk about the color piece a little bit, right? Because I know when I work with a lot of people in marketing and they're branding and they're talking about colors and they're doing things. Can you talk a little bit about when you work with clients and doing color analysis with people? Just talk a little bit about how that works and why that is important too. As you're working with them to create that branded image with them.
So when you learn a few things like the right neckline for you or the right colors for you, those are the pieces that go, the easy, low-hanging fruit that are in your toolbox, right? Your virtual toolbox. So color can, again, sabotage you or really enhance you can make you stand out. So we're not talking about what you have on the bottom half of your body. We're just talking about waist up because it's close to your face. If this, like for me, I have warm undertones. So if this was a muted gray, because I have warm undertones, the light would bounce it up on my face and bring out dark circles and any kind of splotches I have. But if I'm wearing a warm tone, the light will bounce up and create a glow. So if you're wearing, so many people wear gray just because it's almost like it's almost like a little camouflage color. It doesn't stand, but it's not too dramatic or nothing embarrassing. However, a lot of people don't look good in it and they don't know that. So that's the thing. When you figure out the colors that work well for you, then that's part one. Whenever you go shopping or when you're going to do something important, you reach for that color that people compliment you on all the time. You're like one step ahead, just walking in the room. And you already know I'm probably going to get compliments on this because every time I wear red or royal blue or emerald green, whatever it is, even if it's black, that can have a very dramatic effect. So color is really important and people don't take that into consideration too much either. And the other thing that's interesting about color is when you actually go in and learn about your colors, I hear it all the time. Oh, my mother said I looked bad in this color, so I never wore it. I actually love it. Now that could be because that was just their mother didn't like the color, or it could be that their coloring had changed some as they've gotten older too. There are a lot of reasons for that. But that's another way. When you know that, then you go to your closet, you take out all the gray, you give it to someone else, you consign it or whatever. And your closet is getting more and more, not concise, but you know what I mean, tailored to you. So every time you learn one of these new facts, then you're getting more and more, condensed in having to make all these choices, if that makes any sense.
I'm blown. I had no idea that it would impact your face. I'm telling you, I just have no sense in this at all. So to me, and I'm not kidding you, this to me, well, you can tell, but I'm telling you, I have no idea. So this is completely eye-opening to me. Maybe some of you ladies, particularly some of my women are so put together and so glamorous, but there are others, I'm sure. So let's talk about kind of an extension to that. I feel like is body image, right? And we all have different body shapes, and then we hold different images. I am a woman of a mature age. Let's leave it at that, right? So I would imagine, like maybe you could talk about that a little bit about style and how that changes as we mature, and how you kind of work with your clients to determine what is best for the periods of their life. But, I'm in my 6th decade, but I'll tell you what, I feel better than when I was 40. But talk to us a little bit about that. How does body type, age, body image, how do you take that into account?
The first thing I wanted to say as an aside is that any man that is listening to this, it is worth listening to because it gives you better insight into the colleagues that you work with who are female, the daughters that you are raising, your wife, your anyone that come in contact with as a female. They deal with they deal with different things than you do, and one of them is for sure this transition as we get older. And one of the things I mentioned was coloring. So let's say you like right now you have some red in your hair, reddish brown, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Red. So first of all, when you have red in your hair, you can wear more colors than other people. So that's good for you to know. But the other thing is, let's say your hair, went gray eventually. When your hair goes gray.
Very gray, but go ahead.
Yeah, mine too. But if you let it go gray, then all of a sudden, all your warm tone colors that you were wearing aren't going to work with the gray, because the gray is like a cool ice tone. So then you have to switch to, you don't have to, but if you switch to these colors like navy blue, royal blue, black, cool tone colors, that's going to be right for you now. But you're going to still be trying on your browns and your rusts and your, orangey tealy kind of things. And you're going to be thinking, what? This doesn't look the same. And that's what it is. So the other thing that people do is they keep trying to make the looks that used to work on them work now. And I did this myself. I kept going.
It's like it's like us. I was watching. Go ahead.
You go to that go-to outfit and you're like, what is this? What's in here? This is not working for me. It still fits. That's the complicated part. It's not like the pants are too tight. They just look different. The little, little cropped ankle pant and a loafer and a little button-down shirt or something like that used to just be an easy everyday look. Now it looks very plain and not chic. And before you kind of felt Audrey Hepburnish, sort of, or Jackie Kennedy or something like that. Okay. So what you have to do is just stop and say, okay, this is me now. I am alive and I'm thrilled about that, because I'm 62. So, we're pretty, we're pretty lucky to be alive, right? At this age.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. So, we do have a tummy that has popped up and won't seem to go away no matter what we do. Or other things are changing or heading south, right? And so there are ways there's something called the ABCs of dressing, and that's accentuate, balance, and camouflage. And I go into that more in the courses, but that's, the parts of your body that you love, then you're going to accentuate that by using tops and blouses that come up to your face, for example. And if there's another area that you want to camouflage a little bit, there are ways to do that too. So the main thing is think about what's going on now. What's not fitting anymore? Stop trying to make it fit, because that just makes you madder and sadder and feel old and frumpy and confused, right? That's that. And people always say, back in the day, you should have seen me. Well, I'm sure you were, but now you are too. It's just a different time, a different lifestyle. You might have a different budget, everything. It's time to maybe reinvest in some new things that work for your new body and bring some of the other things that are in there that still work in.
I wouldn't have thought about that. I wouldn't. And I'll tell you, because ladies that are listening, I don't know about you, but I'm not hard on my clothes. So I could keep clothes for 20 years, right? So I pull stuff out of the back, and if I'm lucky enough and it still fits, I put it on and I feel like almost obligated to wear it. But how come I have so many clothes in my closet but nothing to wear? Like, why is that?
You're missing your...
Does anybody else feel that way?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
You're missing your core wardrobe.
Sure. You want to explain that?
It's a core wardrobe.
Yeah. So basically the secret to getting dressed is having a core wardrobe. So many people, and it's easy to fall into this trap, you are shopping mostly for statement pieces. You fall in love with them online, in the store, whatever it is. Then you get it home and you don't know how to wear it. And so then you have a whole closet filled with things, or you've bought it on sale. And instead of black or some neutral color that would be very easy to wear, it's orange, it's lime green, but it's Prada. And I found it at a consignment shop, whatever. And so those things are a little bit hard. So Mom, you continue on.
So yeah, when you buy something and you buy like a complete outfit, and that's the only way you're going to wear that, or you bring in the statement piece, like she said, and there's nothing to go under it. That's why the core wardrobe, that's kind of everybody talks about the core wardrobe, but a lot of people don't really understand what it is. It's not much of your closet, but it's the workhorse pieces of the closet. It's the things that go under everything else. It's the simplest. It's like the canvas when you're going to paint a painting, right? It's the top that goes under that jacket that you love. It's the black pant. It's depending on where you live. That's the other thing. A core wardrobe is not the same for everybody. Some people, live in warm temps and they're not going to wear a lot of black and charcoal gray and things like that. So, but those are the bottom layer pieces. So that way you can put outfits together really quickly. And also sometimes people just keep buying more because they're trying to make something work, but they're still not, it's not accepting, but just really understanding that their body has changed and that style jacket is not going to work for them anymore. So they end up with a lot of those jackets and not understanding what is happening. Why are there all these clothes? And I'll tell you another thing that's really weird, but it's so true. The less you have, the more you have to wear. It's really bizarre. But if you go through your closet when you have too much stuff, you'll start finding things and you'll be saying, oh, I forgot I had this. I loved this. Yeah. I thought I'd lost this years ago because it's all crammed in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can create this small core wardrobe that's front and center, easy to get to, best quality that you can afford because you're going to be wearing it all the time. I don't mean, designer. I just mean it needs to hold up or you're going to have to keep replacing it.
Right,
and
right.
Pieces on the side, which is where you bring in your unique personality. Then, then that's the way to create a wardrobe. And also once you know your body type, and because some of those things in your closet might not even be the right color for you or be the right style for you. And so
100%, 100% certain of that, right? If you don't know, you don't know.
No, you don't know. And a lot of people keep things because, it's, whatever brand, or I've only worn it like 3 times. But if you take it to a consignment shop and then you get the money back, then you take that money and you buy one piece. You might have sold 6 pieces, one piece that is perfect for you, that works for your body type, for your neckline, for your shoulders. Are you long-waisted? Are you short-waisted? That's what all the things in these courses teach you. So then you'll know exactly what to shop for going forward. And then you can really do that closet edit to get rid of the things that just aren't going to work.
And when we talk about busy executive women, even busy young women, you've got a lot going on for what age you are. You don't have time to be I don't know about everybody else, but I could spend 45 minutes in the morning trying to figure out what I'm going to wear, even though I've laid it out the night before. You're wasting time. You're wasting time. I want to talk about your courses, but before we get to that, I have one question. I get asked this question all the time. Is office wear more casual since COVID? Would you say now that for men and women, I guess, but particularly for women, are things more casual when you're dressing your clients? Are you dressing them down a little bit more now for the office? Can you talk a little bit about that? I get that question all the time.
It depends on whether they're going into the office, and it depends on where they work. Because a lot of people, especially back in New York, people are back in, business attire.
Mm-hmm.
But also, people get casual confused with, I don't want to say sloppy, but just kind of like generic, because they can't figure it out. You still want to stand out. And also, I've had a lot of people say, especially college students and stuff, well, we don't like people to tell us what to wear. And I understand that, but I do know for sure, because I hear it again and again and again, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I am saying, if you go to the office as a young woman and you're wearing a crop top and you're wearing like wide leg jeans that hit maybe at the hip, the powers of that be are going to not be happy with that. But more importantly, what's going to happen is they're not going to put you in front of the big clients. And if they did, the clients would say, who sent the child? So I'm not trying to tell anybody how to dress. I'm trying to say, I want to set you up for success. And some things that are distracting or that are casual and a great way for brunch or Saturday don't translate well to the office. So if you want to be respected, if you want to stand apart for the right reasons, leave that outfit for another time.
Glad you said that. I work with a lot of college seniors and new grads. I hope you're watching this because this is part of your curriculum for our program, folks out there. And they struggle with that, and they want to know. They want to do the right thing, but they don't know what the right thing is because college is it's a misnomer. They don't, it's not the real world, so they don't know. So thank you for sharing that. And I don't think that they will take that personally, but they need to hear the feedback just as I had to take the feedback years ago. And it really is about building. I think, Delia, you said it before. It's about getting that reputation, starting it out when you're young, and building that moving forward. But let's go back to the courses. But tell me first, do you have a brick and mortar in the city?
No, we don't. Yeah.
All right, let's start there then. Okay, because I want to talk about your courses. So tell us, so now that we're talking about this and you've got the courses, I want to hear about your courses. I know people are interested. Tell us a little bit about them, how they can work with you, because I know not everybody necessarily can maybe set up appointments, but they want more, they need more. Tell us how they can do that. Tell us what you offer, how normal people like me can figure stuff out.
Yes. Yes, we're so excited to launch these digital styling courses because they can be taken at your own pace, anytime, anywhere, and you have lifetime access. And now we have all of these graphics and downloads and supplements, which maybe in the past, working with mom, you would not have gotten. So one of them is the major digital styling course. And so you learn everything you would learn working with mom, her proprietary method. You start with body type, coloring, closet edit, core wardrobe, visual brand. And so that whole process takes you through to set you up for success, to make sure your wardrobe best suits your body type, coloring, lifestyle, style, aesthetic, and budget. There's also one for working women, which you're going to take the Executive Style Masterclass.
I'll let you know how it all is, but go ahead. Yes, I am.
Yes. And so that's where you learn to master the art of power dressing for the modern workplace. So like you were saying, how casual is too casual? Just because everyone's being casual, that doesn't mean that you should, right? And so we take you through desk to dinner dressing, core work wardrobe, capsule travel work wardrobe, business casual versus business professional, especially working in a male-dominated field, how to look fresh after a late night at the office. We are setting women up for success here. We even have a P&L, a SWOT, and a business plan for your wardrobe.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Ladies, they're speaking your language. But can I just stop you though? This is why, you say before, Alison, this is why it's so not frivolous. This is all business centered. This is all value added, is part of a woman's toolbox for their career. That is the last thing people think of because they're so busy getting all their kids' stuff situated and taking care of their husband's stuff. And listen, I've been a single parent for 25 years and I've worked with everybody but myself. And so it's never even crossed my mind. And I know there's people watching out there, right? So these kind of things, it's so critical to hear that. I'm blown away. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. And Alan, if nuts. Go ahead.
Yeah. One thing I would say too about body type, the body type, those basic, I'm an apple, I'm a pear. That's just the first start of it. The first part of it. We're really talking about, are you long-waisted? Are you short-waisted? Do you have sloped shoulders? Do you have square shoulders? Do you have texture in your hair? That's going to affect the texture that you wear on your top half and all of these things. So the body type alone is many aha moments that you never would have thought of. The size and shape of your eye can be mirrored by your earring. And if you do that, then with the person that's looking at you sees this symmetry, this connection. The brain is always looking for connection. So these little tricks are ways to increase the attention that people can pay to you, the focus when you are talking to them. They know it all works and they feel very calm. They don't know why, but you do.
And can I say, when we talk about interview coaching, and we talk about establishing that relationship, when we talk about mirroring is an interview strategy and how you present in the interview. And sometimes people don't know, but likability in interviews will often get you that job. Executive presence, those pieces that people can absolutely define, but then kind of, that piece that they can't necessarily define, that's what gets you the job because everybody's just disqualified probably at some point by the time you get to that final stage of interview, right? And it's that subconscious stuff. When I create resumes for people, I say we tap into the way people read. You don't even think about it, but the way that I write is so that that's where the eye goes. Nobody would think about that, but I know that, right? That's what you're saying.
Right. Exactly.
Same thing. Incredible. I just had no idea. Okay. All right. So I'm enlightened. I'm really enlightened. And I know a lot of people watching this may know this, but I'm really not. I'm telling you, I just didn't know. I knew the subtlety of what you can't describe. It's that old definition of I know it when I see it, but I don't necessarily know what I'm looking at, right? So critically important. So if somebody was going to start with a course, they said, I really want to just kind of explore this and see, can I up my game a little? Where would you recommend they start in terms of your courses? What would be the first thing to start with?
So we actually have many courses as well. We have a body type course and the color course. So if you don't want to go big and start with the digital styling course or executive style masterclass, you could just take the body type course or the color course.
Oh, okay. So when they go to your website, we'll share all this, ladies. You don't have to go looking now, but we'll share your website and all that. But you've got a full catalog there they can look at.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
there's explanations. They can check all out to see what they need. And what about, I have some really sophisticated clients. And so there would be, you've got a whole range. So if they wanted to do courses, there's things for the more sophisticated people around there too.
I'm not sure what you mean, more sophisticated.
I have some female executives that know what they're doing, but they just want more information. They already dress to kill. They're right at it. When I meet them on Zoom or whatever, I know that they've got it all going on, but maybe they want information. Like, do you have not a beginner course, but something that's more advanced for them?
I think that executive masterclass is, I think the big course is, all of it. And so if someone wants to take that, they might think they know everything, or just like you and I, their body has changed. They did know everything, but now they're trying to figure out they're in a slump, And so if they go back through and remember, there's a science behind this. So if I follow this science and I follow these steps, I'm going to get the answers. I'll learn some new stuff. And then I'll also, remember some things that I already knew.
Alison, do you still work? If people wanted to work with you privately, they can still do that too. They can reach out to you to do that.
Sure. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right. Because like I said, there's some really sophisticated people that may want that one-on-one attention. and they can do that. And I have a lot of clients that live in the New York City area. It might be perfect for them.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's all right. Well, listen, we're coming to the end of our time here, but can you each just share a final thought here? We're going to share your website. We're going to, share more details about the style that binds us, but I really wanted to set the foundation. I wanted people to know they weren't alone in terms of the piece of executive presence that maybe they felt they were missing. People like me who are style challenged, but really just know that there is this additional piece that is going to help them advance in their careers. So can you each just share maybe one final thought for our audience? Again, we've got young women, we've got older women here, all different levels, men's world, female dominated careers. What might you say that people can kind of take away, the last minute thing that maybe it's something you wish you had learned earlier, or that you've learned by working with all your clients, some last piece of wisdom? Delia, what can you tell us?
Well, we want to set you up for success, and you can use your wardrobe as a tool. So I want you to create that visual brand, which we'll go into a little bit in the webinar, but we want you, the daily act of getting dressed. Everyone must get dressed unless you live in some nude colony or something. So, right? So I want that process to be playful and joyful, experimental, instead of tear-inducing, frustrating, stressful, horrible. I'm going to postpone doing this, procrastinate, because it's such a horrible experience. So once you have the core wardrobe that best suits all the things I said, lifestyle, style, aesthetic, budget, body type, and coloring, and you have those statement pieces, like Mom said, that show your personality, getting dressed is actually fun, and you're getting to consider, what does your day look like? What is the weather? What messages do I want to send? Am I having a difficult conversation today? Am I trying to get a promotion, or am I having an interview? Do I have a date tonight? Whatever it is, this wardrobe, this visual brand is both in your personal and your professional life. So how can we advance and empower women? It is through your wardrobe, your visual brand, your executive presence, and just opening your eyes, because you are in control here in a world that feels uncertain, insane, completely terrifying. You can control what you wear each day and feel confident and speak with conviction and walk down the street like this instead of like this. It's just completely game changing.
I love it. Alison, what can you share with us?
Well, when you said I style challenged or I have no style, I hear that a lot. And really the truth is, you're not style challenged. It's that you don't have the information that you need to be able to put looks together. Once you know the information about all the things that I go over with someone in person, or that in the course, where you learn all these little pieces of the puzzle, once you learn that, then, it's a done deal. It's easy, and you'll be so surprised about how you're, oh, this really does work. Now I know why I liked that sweater. Okay, now I know going forward, I'll never look for that jacket again. I'll look for this kind. That's the truth. People look outward rather than inward when they're getting dressed too. They look at other people and say, I really like that, so I think I'll order one for me too. But they don't stop and think, we have totally different coloring. I'm much taller than she is, or vice versa. She has no hips. I have hips. That might not look right on the same on me as it looks on her. And so then if you do that a couple of times, that's when you start thinking, I have no style. They can figure it out. Obviously, I can't. Well, it's just because you're trying to get that square peg in that round hole. That's all.
We're always comparing ourselves to others.
Right.
Always. Yeah. All right, listen, folks, we talked about the webinar. I just want to drop this here. Listen, we are going to bring these fabulous ladies back for a private webinar, and I'm going to invite you, so that I hope that you can attend. And our webinar is going to be the transformation power of style. Unlock your potential through your wardrobe and visual brand. We're going to talk more about the visual branding, get more into the science of this. We've only touched the surface here today. Really want you to be able to attend, to get deeper down, interested in questions that you might have for Delia and Alison as well. So it's going to be interactive. We're going to have a really great time, and it's really going to take us to another level. So we're going to share the information in the comment section here, the dates. You're going to get emails for it. So I really hope that you come and you attend. But we got to tie our time up here now. But ladies, thank you so very, very much. The style that binds us is changing lives. So very grateful for you coming to share your wisdom here with our audience. Thank you so much. I look forward to our webinar soon.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. So listen, folks, as you're finishing up watching here, don't forget, please subscribe to our channel, ring that bell so that you are notified when we drop new episodes. And until we meet again and hopefully see you at that webinar, live inspired.